I learned at an early age the reality of racism. I'm an African American, but of course I'm, light in color. The white kids didn't really associate with us. On the other hand, the black kids, the darker kids, didn't associate with us either. And I was always picked on for being the obese kid. It was just a rough time for me. I just felt like I didn't fit in, like something was missing. Going into middle school is when I really discovered alcohol. It was kind of that numbing of all of my emotions. After high school, I went to Nicholls State, and at that point I started peddling drugs, selling drugs. That gave me a sense of power, and I just felt respected by my peers because I felt I had this status. And what happened was I needed to have surgery. So of course I was full of anesthesia. I was at my aunt's house because my parents were in Florida. All these emotions hit me at one time. So I wake up and it's the middle of the night. I'm sure she's sleeping. I started drinking those beers. I had some prescription medication that she had picked up for me. I ate like 28. I also remember smoking some synthetic marijuana. But evidently I went to my house for something. On the way back to her house, there's a huge S-curve. If you don't take the first curve, there's a driveway. Evidently I didn't take the curve, and I went straight. The house had double-car garages. So I drove, cleanly through the first one. I entered the house with my vehicle, came out the back house, so I drove completely through it. I remember walking to go outside and smoke a cigarette, and I saw the truck, and there was multiple pieces of 2x4 actually going through the windshield. And when I opened the door, literally two of them were, I would say, 2 to 3 inches from the headrest of where my head would have been. And I was just amazed that I was alive. Everybody would get like 3 phone calls a week. So in the beginning, I would always call Melinda. And I remember talking to her one night. She asked me on the phone if I loved her. And I said, yeah, of course I love you. She said, well, if you love me, you would let me go and leave me. And I was distraught. I was walking back to my room, trying to hold back the tears. And the head nurse brought me into the room. She could see I'd been crying. She asked me what was wrong, and I told her the story. And she said, I'm gonna need you to go drop down to your knees and pray. And I'm like, okay, God's not hearing me. Why would I do this? So I dropped down to my knees and I started praying. I remember telling God, I give up. Whatever's gonna happen is in your hands. My life is yours to do with as you will. And I just felt this peace that, I've never felt before. I feel that day God grabbed me and said, you are mine. And I never looked back. One thing that I know now, my past doesn't define me. I'm alive today, and I'm alive for a reason. What that reason is, I don't know. But I know God's not done with me. I have to come to a point where I can't worry about what other people think about me. So actually one of the bracelets I wear is audience of one. and my only audience is God. So I need to live for Him and not for anybody else. So I don't worry about not fitting in now. My life is now with God, and I'll move forward in that way.